This is going to be a short clip just to show you the liquid part. So right here, I have the liquid in my glass, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more because I like to see it and have it as big as possible because it's easier for me to draw. So the first thing I need to do is I already moved the glass. So that layer needs to be locked. My liquid needs to be unlocked. Okay. Now I have the liquid on this layer. I filled it in with whatever color I wanted. I turned the alpha down so that it was kind of see-through, but right now I don't have that color. So an easy way to go get that color is get this dropper and then go click the color, and then it'll put it back in your paintbrush, because I don't remember what color I picked and what alpha I picked. So that way I know exactly what color I'm working with. So I'm going to start keyframe animating this liquid now. So I'm going to go to frame 2 and hit F6. And the first time I moved it, I didn't really do anything. I just moved the glass over, so I don't have to pivot it or anything. And then I'm going to hit F6. And on this one, I'm going to start. And if it's a little bit off, you can use your arrows to make it perfect. Okay, if it's a little bit off, it's harder to move it with your mouse than it is with the arrows. Just use the arrows. But when liquid spills, it kind of moves this way with whatever direction it's going, and then the liquid over here is going to move that way, so it's going to go down over here. So this one I'm going to start actually drawing some liquid. So I'm going to take my brush tool, has the right color, and I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid over here, and then I'm going to fill it in with my bucket. And then I'm going to take my eraser and make sure everything is locked except for the liquid, and start erasing kind of liquidy. Okay, and I don't like the way that looks. It looks kind of yucky. So, okay, so that looks like the liquid's kind of like the ocean. It's kind of moving. So I'm going to F6 it again. And whatever I did the last one, it's going to copy. So I'm going to move it over, get it so that it's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna add a little bit more liquid right here, fill it in with a bucket. I'm gonna turn my dot up a little bit so it's easier to draw. Fill it in with my bucket, and then get the eraser again and kind of erase over here. Okay, and then F6. This time, I'm going to have to pivot it, I think. So yeah, see how it doesn't line up? So I'm going to go get my free transform tool. I'm going to pivot the liquid a little. And again, I'm going to add more with the paintbrush. Now that that's thicker, it's easier. Okay, and then I'm going to get the eraser and erase more over here. Okay, so if I scrub my timeline, the liquid looks like it got bumped and now it's splashing out, because the liquid's going to start splashing out of that side. When it splashes out of this side, it's going to go down on that side. So I'm going to keep going, F6. I'm going to move this a little. This one needs to be pivoted, it looks like. That way. And this time I'm going to have it go out a little and maybe go down the cup a little bit this way, and then maybe I'm going to have a little splash. Okay, and I'm going to fill that in like that. Get the eraser, and about however much I drew over there, I need to erase over here. Okay, and then in my next keyframe, it's going to keep that little splash. So I'm going to move it over. I need to rotate it a tiny bit. Move it down a little. About right. And then get my paintbrush. Oops, wrong one. Paintbrush. And kind of fill it. Maybe it's going to go drip like that. But that drip's not going to stay in that same spot. So I'm going to have to take that drip. Oops. And kind of move it down a little, because it's going to keep moving down when I drip it. So that's kind of how you do the liquid. Once it's, I don't know, probably it's going to stay in there. Let me see. Too far. The liquid will probably still be in the cup till about maybe right there. It'll be out of the cup, and then you'll just have a bunch of liquid. And then when it hits the floor and starts cracking, wherever the glass hits the floor and is going to sit, that's where the liquid's going to sit. And it might hit and splash and splash and splash, but eventually it's just going to get flat on the floor. Like if you poured a drink on the floor, eventually it'll just get flat on the floor. It's not going to keep seeping out everywhere. So you make it splash and then it's going to sit.